Hello again everybody. So today I want to quickly look at this Jitter Birth Time. Okay, so let me go into this source here and you will see that I've got this Jitter Birth Time and this interpolate source. Interpolate, get that pronunciation right, interpolate source, right? So here I've got this positive, negative and none, and then here I've got this backwards and forwards method here. Let's take a quick look at how this would work. Now first of all, if I let's have a look at what we've got here. Okay, I want to get rid of this. By the way, this is just continuing on from the last lesson, so let's get rid of that and make that 1. Okay, now I've got that. Cool. Okay, now if I put this and I put this interpolate source, let me go to say forward here, I can see everything basically looks the same, and the reason for that is while it's not exactly the same, you won't see a difference unless this object is actually animated, and animated at speed at that. So let me go back and put that at none. I want to return all of this, so let's have this on use inherited velocity. Alright, that looks good. And is there anything else I want to do here? Maybe I'll turn out the birth rate. Let's turn that down to 1,000. Okay, that's looking good. And now I want to animate this this cube. All right, so I'm going to go back to my transform, and I've already got this at 4 meters high. That's fine. Let's go to translate. First of all, I add a keyframe. I do that by holding the Alt Option key on my Mac, and I can click on this. It gives me a green color here. That means it's been keyframed. Another option is if I can right click, I can go into, let me see where it is. Got keyframes. There we are. Set keyframe is also here. Oh my god, I can't get this too. Let's try this. There we go. Set keyframe. That will also do the same thing. All right. So anyway, let's move on. So I'm going to go to frames maybe 72. Yeah. And then I want to change this to maybe 50. And I'm going to do the Alt click again. Okay. Now I've added this second keyframe. And let's have a look what we've got here. All right. Now I can see it's moving across to number 50. All right, and I can see that this looks fine, right? And the reason is that this obviously isn't moving fast enough. So let me go back, and I want you to see this kind of strobing effect that should come in when it gets to higher numbers. So let's go to 72, 100 here. All right, that's good. Let's go back. Let's try this. So this now is going to go all the way over to all the way over to here. All right, let's see what we get. So here we go, it's moving. You can see it already, right? You can see this strobing thing happening. Okay, that's not great. So let's go back. Let's take another look at that quickly. All right, not the greatest thing, right? I want to put some maybe let's do some floor on here. Let's maybe make this bigger. To grid size, that goes to 10, so let's maybe make this 200, should be about right. Okay, maybe let's make the color a little darker. Yeah, maybe like this. Let's see how that looks. I'm just going to recalculate that. All right, happy days. All right, there we go. Now I don't want it to produce too many particles here. It's still continuing on making lots of particles, so let's fix that. I want it to stop at frame 72. Let's go into here, birth rate. Now remember what we had last time. Let's do the same thing or similar. $FF for the frame, and I want anything that is less than frame 72. So this will actually go to frame 71, right? So let's see that, and it should stop at frame 72. It should stop creating more particles. Let's do that. Alright, how are we getting there? We are, and there we go, finished. Alright, I'm a genius. Right, okay, let's see if that will replay a bit quicker. No, it's still going quite slow. Alright, and I think the reason probably is because I've got this guide turned on. Let's turn that off. There we go, that's much better. Alright, so we can see anyway that we're getting this kind of marking. It's got these gaps in between it. Let me put that back on again. And the reason for that is that it's going so fast that it's not able to kind of interpolate between these, the space in between. Now, I think we've had a look maybe in a previous lesson, but let's go back and take a look at this. So I'm going to go back to frame 1, and there's one way that I could do that, if you remember, which was to go into the PopNet or dot network here, go to simulation, and these substeps. The substeps here will create kind of mini frames within one frame. So for example, if I put it on 2, it means it will calculate 2 frames between each frame, so there'll be like an extra frame in the middle. Okay, so let's do that, and now I can already see that things are looking a bit better. All right, because I've added this extra frame. Yeah, and that looks actually quite good. Let me go back now. I'll show you the problem in a minute. Now, let's say I want to substep up to 4, right? I've got a lot more. Now, let's take a look at what happens here. All right, now you can see the speed is really slow. That's because substeps, why do I keep saying substeps? Substeps take a long time to calculate, and of course the more substeps you have, the longer it will take. So there's a bit of a way to get around this. Obviously within this simulation it doesn't really matter so much. That's how it looks, yeah. But in a bigger simulation this might be a bit of a problem for simulation time. So let's cut that back down to 1. Let's open this up and let's go back to the original thing, which was this jitter birth rate. Now it's got here known, negative, positive. I'm going to stick with positive. I actually don't know what the difference is. I've tried both of them and the result seemed to come out the same. So I'm going to go with positive. And the important part here is this interpolate source. Right, okay. So I've got forward and I've got back. Let's put it on back. So what this is going to do now is each frame it's going to guess. For example, if I put it on forward, it's going to estimate where the next frame is going to be, and it's going to kind of scatter some points in there. The idea is that it tries to solve the problem between the frames. Okay, so let's try this, see what we get. Okay, and it already looks a lot better, doesn't it? That's already looking pretty good. Alright, let's go back. Now I'm going to put this on none so we can see the difference. Okay, and on none you can remember I'm getting this strobing effect. And so the way to solve that is to use this interpolate source and the jitter birth rate. If I have this as none, then I can't select this. So this needs to be set to positive or negative. I will personally use positive. Okay, now another one is the back. I prefer to use back. Now what that does is each frame it makes, it's actually creating the points. Let me see, can I add some geometry test here? Let me add that. Maybe here. Alright, let's see if that still shows up. No, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. But yeah, so what it does is it creates the points after the original cube. So if you can imagine that the cube is here, although I wasn't able to show a display for that, I'm not sure why. So if you can imagine that the cube is here, it's creating the points behind it. If I make this on the forward, it's creating, oh, you see the jump there? That's because the cube is here and it's making the points in front of it. Now in most cases you're going to want it to be back. You know, you're going to have, say, some kind of projectile moving, and smoke or whatever, particles are going to be coming out of the back of it, right? But there might be some situation where you prefer or need to use forward. So at least you know that option is there. So let's go into the back and let's return to the beginning and try that. Okay, it's a little slow too. There's a couple of reasons for that. Main one being that my computer is super slow, so hopefully on your computer this will go a lot faster. However, it is going faster than the substeps. Alright, that looks good. Alright, let me go back and run that again. Okay, that looks a lot better, right? And it's kind of like a cheap way to be able to integrate those frames together. Okay, so I hope that's a little bit useful. Like I said, you'll only really use this when you've got something that is moving at high speed, but you know, this will happen a lot when you're animating, and so this is one way that will work. If it doesn't give you the result that you want, then the only other option I know is to go back into these substeps, and that's going to be quite a bit of calculation time. So it's worth trying this one first, just in case that gives you the result that you need, and you're good to go. Alright, hopefully that's useful, and I'll speak to you guys again next time. Bye bye.